everyone. Welcome to Previously Recorded. This episode is brought to you by our official sponsor, Totally Tees. For all your t-shirt needs, contact Jack at Totally Tees, and you can hit them up on @TotallyTees on Instagram. So that's our legitimate sponsor.
Took me everything not to plug a fake sponsor there.
It feels weird having a real sponsor.
Yeah,
It's just bullshit anymore.
Weird.
Don't worry, guys. There will be fake sponsors throughout the episode.
Oh well, yeah.
There you go.
We're not assholes.
That's what you get. It just spilled all over his notes. Dickhead.
Throwing that out.
Not on the couch, man. Come on.
One couch. This is a serious recording studio.
You know what it was? I didn't John.
You didn't John Doe two tap.
All right, well,
that's on me.
So this episode, we are going to try and tackle
Great way to start that.
the best movies in sports.
This is what movies are.
So we're going to try and tackle the best sports movie. The categories are going to be football, baseball, and basketball, and there's going to be a miscellaneous category which will incorporate golfing, swimming, hockey, and even bobsledding. We're going to do a top 3 for each category and a top 7 for miscellaneous, and then try to compile our top 10 sports movies, all topics. Now, these are not necessarily the best and well-received sports movies. For example, like Raging Bull might not be our top boxing movie or what have you, but these are movies that we love, we grew up on, and that they have a deep impact on us, and that we would, if someone asked us, hey, what's your favorite sports movie, this is what we would say. We're, like I said, this whole podcast is we're 3 unqualified morons with microphones. So don't expect, an Academy ranking or an AFI ranking. Let's
just
begin.
expect the correct ranking. That's all you guys can look for.
So, as always, I am here with Shane Gallagher and just Bob. No guest tonight. We're just doing it, the Three Amigos, like in the olden days. Classic episode.
It's a nostalgic episode.
Previously recorded. So,
back when we couldn't find guests, and now people are clamoring.
Yes, you remember the first episode where me and Bob just kind of went off the rails a little bit?
Yeah, I expect a lot of that tonight.
Plot, yes.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
All right, so what do you want?
So I think
our first category.
Our first category will be football.
Football? That's a good place to start.
3
of each
football
of these.
movies.
So, in case anybody's forgotten, just so you know, my Bob's list will always be in no particular order.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure you remembered that, especially those of you who are stealing my bit on Twitter. I'm not happy about it. It's licensed.
Yes.
Expect a subpoena.
Which,
yeah,
speaking
we're
of
looking
Twitter,
at UK Hill.
Yeah. Which, speaking of Twitter, we will be reading off the list.
A few of the lists we got on Twitter.
And Facebook and Instagram.
Which were enlightening, to say the least.
That we thought we were pretty good. And that'll be the winner of an official previously recorded t-shirt made by Totally Tees. And we appreciate the time you took if you did reach out, and we just know that you're listening, and we just appreciate it. So we're going to do that at the end of the episode.
All right. So let's get to our football list. We'll start with Shane here.
We'll start with 3 and work down to 1.
All right.
Well, no, I mean everybody give your third, and we'll go around the horn. If somebody has a repeat, we'll talk about it then.
Okay.
Just say where it's at, and then we'll get down to our definitive number ones. Mine are in no particular order. Surprisingly enough, with football, I think I do have a particular order, but for the purpose of the bit, I don't.
All right.
So Shane, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is The Replacements.
The Replacements.
It's a great movie.
Why do you believe that is number 3?
Why do I believe I like that movie?
Why do you like it?
What do you mean?
Yeah, why do you like it? We got to get you got to make a pitch for why that's your number 3.
It's classic Keanu.
Out of your top, out of all the sports movies, that's number 3.
No, out of football.
Well, out of football, that's what I mean. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it was a tough choice, but that's if I'm gonna rewatch a movie, that's pretty high on the list of movies I want to rewatch.
Probably the highest rewatchability not the highest. It says top 3 rewatchability. It's probably out of most of the movies on my sports list.
Yeah.
The Replacements is one of those movies that's like constantly on
a
channel.
It's like TBS,
but you don't turn it off.
So, I'm grilling you hard. Because that's also my 3. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That movie.
The Replacements is in my top 3 in no particular order. So for the sake of this argument, it will also be my 3rd.
That's the one football movie that I look forward to watching every football season. Even though I own it, it's just one of those things where you own a movie, but you're always, if it's on TV, you're more likely to watch it than just putting the actual DVD in your player.
No, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about The Replacements.
No, Is the story amazing? No.
No.
But it's a good, solid.
But is there a
sports
depth
story.
tight end? Yes.
Yes.
And at the end of the day,
He gets
what more could
women.
you ask for?
Yeah. I mean, he's
Is
never going to be off sides.
Is there a subpar quarterback living in a houseboat? Yes. It really checks all the boxes.
It's a little
folks.
depressing.
Is there Gene Hackman in a straw hat?
I love it.
Yes.
It's just strippers as cheerleaders. There's a bunch of so many quotable scenes in that movie. Like I know for me, like when I coached, they always said, "Hey, give us a motivational quote," and I'd always say, "Pain heals, chicks dig scars, and glory lasts forever."
That's because you're a tool.
But that's what Keanu says in the movie.
Yeah,
I love that quote.
That's what the cheating quarterback from Ohio State or Arizona State or whatever it is.
I love that quote. I think my dad quotes it all the
I
time,
think
so.
we can all agree that when they made the replacement, they really scored a touchdown on that one.
You forgot what kind of movie it was.
I forgot what pun I wanted to use. But get ready for the bad sports puns because they're coming in hot and heavy here.
They really hit it in the uprights.
Yeah, they really kicked that one right through the uprights.
Yeah.
And I hate myself.
Yes. But there's just so many great moments. The scene when they're dancing in the jail cell.
Yes.
When
they will survive.
They will survive.
The elephant jizz.
And I always love that scene. That's
like there's clutch scenes that you forget about.
That scene in the jail cell.
Jon Favreau seeing red.
Oh, it's the best. Good. But in the scene in the jail cell, that's when, this is one of the more serious parts of the movie where they focus in on Keanu,
but that's funny.
That's
though,
when he becomes realize that we're
even
a
though
team.
it's like a serious movie, but it's like a comedy. The scene in the jail cell is the serious scene. He talks about the quicksand, which is hilarious because the other guys, oh yeah, quicksand's real scary. Like they don't get it, and then they dance. And the coach comes down, it's supposed to be still very serious, and the deaf tight end, Roy from The Office, is dancing because he doesn't know any better.
that movie's just so good.
I think
that is a
the replacements locked in as third,
but
for football, locked in as third for football. Sounds good to me.
I just realized that was Roy from The Office.
It's Roy from
He
The
really
Office.
lets himself go by the time The Office comes around.
He apparently...
he's not playing football anymore.
I've read some articles, and he's a very committed actor who
apparently
put on pounds for the role of warehouse.
Oh, yes.
Apparently his hearing came back, so that's good.
Because
really come full circle.
all things are interrelated. And clearly, he used to play football for the Washington Senators, and now he works... It's the Sentinels. And now,
or maybe he was a Washington senator.
He might have done that as well. But now he works in a warehouse. Or at some point he worked in a warehouse in Scranton.
Yeah.
Because that dialogue checks out.
Yes, I do.
So
lead lock number 3.
Yeah, lead lock. So let's...
Lead pipe, what was it on ESPN? The lead pipe, oh fuck, it was like...
Tweet us in, because we have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, the cold hard lead pipe locks. That's what it was for football.
It's the lock of the century of the week of the year.
Yes.
We'll wait for ESPN to tweet us because clearly they're listening.
Oh, we're getting sued.
This is pretty
We're getting sued so hard.
So, number 2, since this is your show, RP, we'll let you do number 1 as the first one. So, you'll be the last one for number 1. So 2, you start us with 2.
I was actually going to let you start.
I'm going to let you. I don't have no particular order,
but
so
no,
that is
I will
asinine.
let you.
So you're going to do your number 2.
My number 2 is Rudy, for many reasons. Look, you got to look at it as.
I have Rudy too. I'm not. No.
Yeah, it's a true story. It's very
Rudy was
inspirational.
offsides.
Rudy was offside.
Desmond Howard had one of the greatest calls I've ever seen on game day when they were talking about Rudy, and they were like, "Yeah, you have to root for Rudy." And Desmond Howard, who went to Michigan and hates Notre Dame, said, "Yeah, I was rooting for him to pull a hammy," and I laughed hysterically.
So the thing about Rudy is that when I was a kid, at least in this area of Northeast Philadelphia. I always felt growing up, everyone was a Notre Dame fan until you got to a certain point in your life. And I was a Notre Dame fan as a kid. Now I hate them. But
looking at the list of football movies, I think there's 18 football movies that I might put ahead of Rudy. And I'll explain to you why before you explain how good Rudy is for you, because I understand what you're getting at. Rudy, for me, is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and 20 minutes of that are entertaining. I don't care about him. Again, I can't have Jon Favreau in 2 of my top football movies, so that's going to hurt me, right? Like the stuff at class, the stuff at Notre Dame, the stuff in school, I don't care about. The football scenes are shot well. The practice squad scenes are shot well, like the practice scenes. But he only plays in one game.
Yeah, I know, but that end scene.
Absolutely.
Right. It's just
the
one of the
5-minute end scene.
Yeah.
Gives you chills
every time.
And I may have cried the first time I watched it.
That scene's incredible.
But I can't put it as a top football movie because I don't want to watch all of Rudy.
Well, in no particular order.
It's 8 Mile. I want to watch. I mean, 8 Mile. I'll watch the whole thing, but I really just want to watch the rap scene at the end.
All right, so your pitch into it's number 2 for you.
Bob actually changed my mind, and I'm making number 2 The Express.
So he's out.
That's a good movie.
He's out. I convinced him out. I like.
I
have power.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a particular order, and you don't have a backbone.
I'm not locked in with Rudy number 2. I just feel like I feel an obligation as this podcast to have that because that's one of the most iconic football movies. It's Rudy. Everyone, Rudy.
So here's a movie that I could put on your map that you guys aren't ready
that
for.
The Blind Side might even be better than Rudy.
I would say that there's a lot of movies better than Rudy. So there's a movie called The Program. Has anybody seen The Program?
No.
So this is a problem here. I also have not seen The Program, but I know about The Program. It's a little bit older. I haven't been able to find it. And I hear that this is like the definitive football movie. So if anybody out there is freaking out that The Program hasn't been mentioned yet.
Well, I actually heard Brian's song.
Brian's song is a big football movie.
Yeah.
But The Program, so for people that I know who are a little bit older than me, The Program is like their football movie. Whereas my number 2, I'll say it's my number 2 because I feel like we all have the same number 1.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Is Varsity Blues.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And
that's my football movie. It's a high school football movie. Any Given Sunday, great movie. Friday Night Lights, great movie. But I love Varsity Blues. I love the idea of just like the different group of people. Mm-hmm. Tweeter is just a goofball. It's the whole I don't want your lifeline like that is just funny to me because it's just probably not good acting at that point. But Varsity Blues is like my football movie. If I want football, Varsity Blues is like my football movie. A coach who's a piece of shit. It all checks out at that point. So that's my 2. So we had Rudy as mentioned as a 2, and then are we gonna say The Express here?
Yeah, that's mine.
I mean, that is really good, but I don't know if I could put that as a number 2 movie. For me,
Shane,
it's not as memorable.
He's not the boss of you, Shane.
Tell me why.
No. Well, like we were saying, that's like, I think that's rewatchable to me. I just think.
You know how many times I've seen that movie? Once.
You know how much I care about your opinion?
Get that. How do you not know that these are going to explode, guys? What's the bit?
I forgot. He didn't John during 2 taps.
It's very professional. Meanwhile,
I think it's the High Lifes.
It's absolutely High Life. Do you know why High Life explodes a little bit when it's cold? Because it's the champagne of beer. This episode of Previously Recorded brought to you by Miller High Life. The champagne of beer.
We wouldn't be dealing with this if Michelob would just
allegedly
call us.
Well, Michelob's a real crumb bum creep.
Did not send us a free case of beer.
They won't sponsor our show for some reason.
Look, is it much to ask for you to send me a free case of beer?
Is it that big of a deal for us that you want to be sponsored by a beer company?
I'm reaching out to you. I need you. I need a hero.
He's holding out. He's holding out for a hero. And we want Michelob Ultra to be that hero.
All right.
Because we like to run.
Yes.
We don't.
I actually do.
So, we have Rudy the Express, Varsity Blues, number 2s. The Replacements is a solid number 3.
Yeah.
What we're going to do today for the purpose of the episode
Could you argue?
Is we're going to leave, we're not going to have a definitive 3 for football.
All right.
But what we're going to do at the end is we're going to have a definitive 10. So we're going to keep track of every movie that was brought up. And from those movies, we will come up with a 10.
For the top categories, there has to be a definitive 1 before
we'll figure out a 1. That's fine. And they're locks to make the 10.
Be for football.
Your football number 1. I feel like we could all say it at the same time.
I think we should. Hold on. Back to number 2. I think there's a good argument for Invincible.
Well, then you have to get rid of Rudy. That's your 2 if you want it.
I would take Invincible.
I'm locked in at Varsity Blues. I've had this conversation in bars 1,000 times. These are my 3. Do you want?
I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand tall.
Because
when the game stands
by saying
tall,
Rudy, or by saying Invincible and getting rid of Rudy,
it has to be Rudy.
But my 3.
All right, I'm locking mine.
For purposes of my own, right? Varsity Blues is like a my youth thing. Rudy is a your youth thing.
Yeah.
And Shane likes the Express.
Yes.
Shane, yeah, he just likes it.
So what is your definitive number 1?
Oh, we
you
can all
say it at the same time.
Remember the Titans. Yeah.
Nobody's arguing. Remember the Titans.
It's just out of all the heartwarming and inspirational football movies, this one strikes the biggest punch. With great performances, great dialogue, and scenes, and it's just like Remember the Titans just still delivers a strong message of unity and love that resonates today.
Here's how I know
And
Remember
it's a true
the
story.
Titans is a great movie. One time down the shore, Vince, a loyal listener who watched Wonder Woman based off of our top 10.
But Wonder Woman wasn't in our top 10.
But like our list, like our top 10s. It was in different top 10s.
He made him watch
it. We talked about Wonder Woman. It wasn't our definitive top 10, but it was in a top 10.
Yeah.
Vince and I down the shore, it was raining, and we watched Remember the Titans, and we quoted everything. And if you messed the quote up, you had to drink. And I think between the two of us, we drank a total of 10 times. Which talks about rewatchability.
That movie's so freaking good. Great soundtrack.
Good soundtrack.
Probably my favorite.
Denzel, can't go wrong with Denzel.
Jerry Bertier is probably the best.
Everyone likes Jerry
from
Bertier.
any sports movie.
Yeah. Sunshine.
I love Sunshine. Ask anybody I played football with. I tried to make that my
Ryan
nickname.
Gosling.
Didn't work.
I love
Ryan Gosling.
Petey.
I don't got to ask about this one.
Petey.
Rev. Just
great
great characters. A great message. Great football. It's not necessarily realistic. Julius Campbell. Yeah, that's good.
Hey.
Julius Campbell chasing down the guy from behind. He runs like a robot.
Yep.
Right? Avon Barksdale running like a robot in that film.
I think we might have to pause this to go and watch Remember the Titans.
Yeah,
and
we'll
come
be
back. To
back.
this.
We'll be back in 2
2.5
hours.
I feel like we should just keep recording and just.
It's wild. Wow, what a great scene.
You guys just got soaked in.
The episode just turned into us
commentary.
Watching.
Live
All right, so we have a 1 and we have a 3 for football. And I think for the interest of time, because people have very important things to do with their life, we'll move on to our next sport, which would be what, RP?
Let's go into baseball.
Straight into baseball?
Yeah, let's go into baseball.
All right. So
baseball for me was a lot harder.
No particular order. It's very hard. No particular order. I kind of have 4 that I have to figure one out right now.
I have 5.
But since I go in no particular order, it doesn't really matter.
All right, so Shane, we can start with you. What's your number 3?
Major League.
That's a solid number 3 for him.
See,
All right, so Major League can be not my number 3 as well. So
I was able to get a 3 like no problem, but then there was like 2 more that I felt bad leaving out.
There's one that I'm especially upset about, and a couple like kids movies that I'm going to be.
What's the one that you're?
My honorable mention is going to be Hardball.
See, mine's Angels in the Outfield.
I
felt bad leaving that.
Kids movies like Angels in the Outfield, Little Big League, Rookie of the
42,
Year.
40, for me,
42 is a good movie.
I had to leave that out.
But the Moneyball.
42 kind of made me a little upset.
The Phillies,
The Phillies were such assholes.
We were racist.
We were racist. Moneyball. These are things that didn't make my top 3.
Yeah.
And the top 3 is hard for baseball because there's so many.
This is going to be probably the most debated topic.
All right, so Major League. The first Major League, great 1 and 2. 3 is
shaky.
Okay, but Major League 1, right? I agree that can.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that can be
it's the most quotable.
It's called a winning streak.
Mine's Let's see what the boy thinks about the old number 1.
So Major League.
Give him the heater, Ricky.
Will be my 3 as well. Shane's 3rd. I think it's a good baseball movie. It's funny. There's serious elements. There's the wild thing. There's the Cleveland fans, which is hilarious. I own a Cleveland Indians hat for the sole purpose of I love Major League.
That's why I
not a fan necessarily of the Indians.
Yeah,
I have been. I've supported them.
When the
but
Phillies
all
are
that,
out,
all of that is based off of Major League.
Yeah,
I could care less about the Indians if it wasn't for Major League.
So, for me, I have a tied 3rd. So, for me, I have a tied number 3 between Major League and Bull Durham.
All right, and I'll give my excuse, my reasoning against Bull Durham later on in my list.
Okay.
I'll explain
I feel like
my
what we probably should have done.
Really close for me. Major League.
So
for a long time, I would have said Major League is my favorite baseball movie. Like Bob said, I have a Cleveland Indians hat because of that movie. I root for Cleveland because of that movie. So I mean, it's not hard to push Bull Durham, which is still a fantastic baseball movie. Out of the way. That movie's just as fun. Not as funny and not as quotable. But that movie is just as fun as Major League. So I will go with Major League at my number 3.
With Bull Durham coming in as a...
Yes.
I thought of another one that had to get left out. A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own I'm not necessarily a fan of.
I love that movie.
Love Tom Hanks. Love the story. Love Gina Davis. Madonna. I think they all do a good job. It's just A League of Their Own is a little bit too long for me. And I'm not as into it as I like Major League. I'll watch start to finish every time it's on.
Which is why it's
A League of Their Own. I might not do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's the right choice.
That's fair.
Hardball. I might watch start to finish, and I love the cucumbers and I love juicy I love it when you call me Big Pop. And he's got the headphones on, but Major League is just a...
Major League is the
been
classic,
more to me than hardball.
It's a classic baseball. It's just what it is.
All right, so RP, what's your 2?
So, 2 I actually had written down for the sake of the fact where it is and what it... I'd Field of Dreams. And I'm actually going to veto that right now. Kick that out of number 2.
And put Bull Durham in?
And fucking Sandlot is sliding in.
Sandlot wasn't top 3 prior.
No.
All right, so
it was
Sandlot
number 4. It was number 5.
Sandlot is in for 2.
It just has to be. I mean,
Sandlot is my 2.
As quoted
in no particular order, because now I just put where mine is.
Sandlot's my
These
1.
make sense. Sandlot is my number 2.
Well, no suspense there, Shane.
Before
Jesus,
you tweet us and you get mad at us, remember that this isn't like what movie has the best cast or what movie really
should have
won the Academy Award. The Sandlot is my childhood movie.
The Sandlot
yes.
is
S'mores.
Until you hear my number 1. Like, for the longest time, The Sandlot was the definitive movie.
Here's the other reason why...
There's some people who actually that I know haven't seen Sandlot.
Which is offensive.
Yeah.
Which will remain nameless.
Audra.
All right.
No big deal. But that movie, in terms of baseball, that is the quintessential what baseball is. It's about playing with your...
That's why,
with
because
your guys,
Major League is not baseball to me.
No.
Because I never played in the Major Leagues.
Yeah.
Any of these other movies, I don't play in the Major Leagues. You know what I did? I did go down to the field and just hit balls around with my friends.
Yeah.
And just try to get a team together and try to get a game together.
It's hard.
And then you have fun with your friends. And at some point, maybe
you lose an autograph.
Maybe somebody hits a Babe Ruth ball over the fence where there's a monster dog. And
Baby
you gotta
Ruth.
it out.
Baby Ruth. The Salt and the SWAT. The Great Bambino. That's why I learned all these nicknames for Babe Ruth. I didn't know all the Salt and the SWAT.
I had a thing at school the other day. They had to do Babe Ruth. They had to find out who he was, and I was yelling at them. The Salt and the SWAT. The Colossus of Clout. The Great Bambino.
The Great Bambino.
Also,
Benny the Jet stealing home.
One of the greatest things ever is at the end. They don't see him, I don't believe it. Benny the Jet stealing home. They don't see it, I don't believe it. He's stealing home. Benny the Jet stealing home.
And freaking Squints making out with
Wendy Peppercorn.
Wendy Peppercorn. What a name.
That has to be number 2. Or at least in your top
Hands
3.
down 2 for me. Major League, The Sandlot. So now we go to number 1.
Well, Shane, what was Shane's number 2?
My 2 is Bad News Bears.
I thought you said Sandlot.
No, it's my number 1.
Oh, it's your 1. No, I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert.
The original, not that god-awful remake.
The original Bad News Bears.
In terms of childhood movies,
there's so many that would go
right there with
Bad
Sandlot. Yeah, but I just have a lot that would go above.
Because for me, I remember when I was young, the movie theater used to do a summer movie thing, and you would go once a week and they play. But it was always the same movies. Mm-hmm. But it was Little Big League, or it was Rookie of the Year, or it was Angels in the Outfield. A quick spoiler for later, my brother tweeted in, and The Rookie was in his top 10 total. The purpose of this list, the rookie came. I think I was a little bit too old for The Rookie when it came out.
The thing with
that would have been my kid baseball movie.
The thing with baseball, there's The Rookie, there's Little Big League, there's Rookie of the Year. There's so many good baseball movies.
Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah. Angels in the Outfield, which is a big,
Mr. 3000's,
big with
the one with
fans.
Bernie Mac.
Yes. All right, so I think Sandlot's in a top 3.
Sandlot's 2. We agreed on Major League being 3, so Sandlot's got to be 2.
That's fine. What's your 1 then?
So my number 1 is Moneyball.
All right, Moneyball at number 1.
So my reason is that it's the true story of an unlikely process, putting everything on the line to try this new way of winning baseball while also saving money. Walks as good as a hit. Little things, little details, little statistical, and that's just what some of teams do now.
That's because you're an accountant and you're a nerd and you like that stuff.
Well, yeah, but it's also just
Chris
great.
Pratt. I've noticed that Chris Pratt always makes your top list.
I love Chris Pratt, but it's great performances by Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, and this actually might be my favorite.
Jonah Hill's super weird in that movie.
It might be my favorite Jonah Hill movie.
It is the scene where he makes the fist pump when they make the deal in the office.
Yeah,
he does
and he clenches his fist.
It's not my favorite Jonah Hill. It's a good Jonah Hill acting movie.
The Wolf of Wall Street has to be your favorite Jonah Hill movie. He's
I
ridiculous
love.
in
that.
You drink a bunch of those and get real fucked up.
And it's just, but it's also
alcoholic.
But it's also shows you the behind the scenes of baseball. It keeps it interesting. It shows when they have to trade a player like Michael Pena, and it's a true, like I said, it's a true story, and it's also why I root for the A's now.
It also shows when
when the
just
Phillies are out.
They just trade a player
Yeah.
for a bag of chips, basically. Just
I
stock our vending machine for the
They
next
didn't
rest of
trade
the
him for a washing machine.
washing
they did
machine.
Eddie Monix.
Hey,
Hey,
basketball coming up
Traded him
soon.
for a washing
Stay
machine.
tuned for your basketball list.
And also, I like Moneyball a lot too because the A's fall short. They try this new process. They don't win the World Series. But
So my
number one for me is locked at Moneyball. That'll always be my favorite baseball
for
movie.
similar reasons. Not like this is what baseball like. This is what the major leagues looks like, the behind the scenes. But this is what baseball is. Movie is Field of Dreams.
That's your number one.
Field of Dreams
If
is
they
the
build
story of what happens, what baseball can do, right?
Yeah.
How baseball can bring people together. But Field of Dreams is like the definitive, like bringing a family together. This guy literally drops everything. He gives up everything, builds a baseball team. If you've ever read the book, James Earl Jones' character is actually J.D. Salinger, who went in and was a recluse after Catcher in the Rye and all those things. So there's a lot of, for me being a nerd, there's a lot of other elements to Field of Dreams that I enjoy. But just the power of baseball, like the scene at the end of Field of Dreams when he's like, "Hey, Dad, want to have a catch?"
Yep.
If that doesn't get you every time, then you don't like baseball.
That's why with a lot of people, when you think of name me a baseball movie, Field of Dreams should
Field of
always
Dreams
pop
is
up
there.
as the number one.
So that's why it's my
baseball
one,
movie.
right? Because
Yeah.
when I think of baseball, I think of Sandlot, I think of Field of Dreams.
But I would rather watch Sandlot and I'd rather watch Moneyball than watch Field of Dreams.
And then, so that's your rewatchability factor.
Yeah.
I will always watch Field of Dreams.
What was your one? What did you
Moneyball.
say it? Moneyball. Sorry.
All right.
Shane's
so,
number one was Sandlot.
It was
Yes.
Sandlot, but Bad News Bears
It's two.
is in there. So Bad News Bears. So we have. What is your definitive number one baseball movie then? You just said Field of Dreams is one of them.
We have
For me, it's Sandlot.
3 different options here.
Yeah.
So do we want to bump Sandlot up to our one? I think we made actually a good argument for Sandlot being
Yeah.
our one.
Yeah.
We did.
And Sandlot,
Sandlot's baseball to all of us.
yeah. I mean,
You
yeah.
keep sighing.
Fuck.
I don't think. I don't know why you're so upset. Moneyball could be your number 2, but Sandlot's going to be our one.
Moneyball is definitely in my
so
top.
Sandlot has locked a spot in the top 10.
Yeah.
That's what that
It
comes
has
down
to
Obviously,
be.
yes. Obviously.
Sandlot is locked in top 10. Remember the Titans is locked in top 10.
If Remember the Titans and Sandlot aren't
and
in our
basketball,
top 10,
whatever
then what are we
basketball
even
movie
doing
we
here?
come up with is locked in top 10. And then the other 7 could legitimately all be miscellaneous
I
movies.
can make this argument for why I can put Sandlot over Moneyball is because I just enjoy the Sandlot more. It's
Yes.
fun. You know, like the whole s'mores thing. Like there's just so many great scenes in that movie.
Yeah, I don't care
that
how many
everyone
times
loves.
I've seen Sandlot.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
still going to
great.
watch it if
It's
on.
great. It's
Yeah,
a
so
great
I
movie.
think that that's the right call. Because to know that Remember the Titans and Sandlot are in the top 10 sports movies list, I think that's the right call.
Yeah, they have to be.
All right, so we have 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
We have
But all that matters right now is
we
the
have
one.
1 and 3 locked in.
1 and 3 are locked. Major League is locked in as a 3.
Okay.
2 is now Moneyball, Field of Dreams, Bad News Bears.
All right, so we on to basketball.
So on to basketball.
Settled that.
I can, yeah. All right, so and then number 1 is the Sandlot. So that is locked in, and that is our baseball topic.
Sandlot is in the top 10. It's earned itself a bye.
So we are going to steamroll, maybe, half court press into basketball.
Oh,
I hate you.
Yeah.
full court press all the way.
Mm.
But I really think that our basketball list is going to be a slam dunk.
Now remember,
That's the bad bit you were
Let me
looking
just-
at.
now remember, these are not the best basketball movies ever made. These are our favorite.
Alright,
I'm about to pick up an assist.
Yeah.
RP, what's your number
Ooh,
3?
I was going to make an alley-oop joke, but good job. All right, so RP, what's your 3? Because he says, he just dropped a dime. You better crush it.
Don't worry,
Well,
no one's listening
I'm gonna-
to this. We can say whatever we
That's
want.
true. That's true. We can. My number 3 is High School Musical. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man, what a twist that would have been. Guys, we got you hooked in with baseball and football, but really this is about the greatest Disney
man,
musicals of all time.
We're all in this together, you know.
Oh, God. Somebody give me a list of bridges.
Oh God.
Never
You already
mind, I
have
had
it.
my
It's in
own.
your- It's in your PDF.
I have to go with number 3. So I haven't
My-
seen the full movie of this, but Hoosiers.
Oh, Hoosiers is great.
Hoosiers
yeah.
is great. My basketball list is one of the hardest lists I've done.
It was
So
it
it
was
is
tough.
absolutely in no particular order. If you say it, I'm going to agree with it. If you don't say it, I'm going to fight for it at the end.
Coach Carter can also be his
Well,
number 3.
what's your
What were you
3?
gonna
What
say?
is your 3?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go-
care about what could be.
I'm gonna
3.
go Coach Carter.
Coach Carter is 3.
Yeah.
I'll give Coach Carter 3 because it's in my list somewhere. So just to make sure that Coach Carter gets in, I would say Coach Carter could be 3.
Okay.
Why Coach Carter, though?
That's a great movie. Samuel L. Jackson.
All right, so that doesn't tell me much. Can you give me anything? Samuel L. Jackson's also in Snakes on a Plane. Not a great movie.
Hey, he's also Nick Fury, so
yeah, but
pass.
what movies aren't he in? So
That's also
That's an easier list to make.
Yeah, Shane. What movie aren't he in?
What movies aren't he in?
What movies aren't he in?
shut up.
You know what? Maybe they should have locked the gym on Shane like they did in Coach Carter, so that he could have went to the classroom and learned how to speak.
It's just a good movie. It's just a good movie. That's my argument for it.
All right, Coach Carter, good basketball,
Yes.
feel good, kind of story, but also realistic, right?
Yep.
Nobody likes that Coach Carter doesn't let them play.
Yes.
So like it's what you want to see in a movie.
Shane, you're number 3.
I agree.
Agree
Coach
with Coach
Carter.
Carter.
Coach Carter. Good old Coach Carter.
All right, so Coach Carter's locked in at 3. No conversation needed.
No.
First,
Coach Carter, Sam Jackson.
Can we just mention
If
Hoosiers?
I'm not mistaken, they
'Cause
lose at the end. If I'm not mistaken.
I think they do.
Which is
they might.
exactly...
Which is the greatest lesson of all.
I like to see that, though, in movies. I don't like when the team that has no business winning wins
Like
Yeah.
Major
all
League.
the time. Major League is different because they rally around something and it's baseball and it's a little
That's
bit
why I
different.
like Moneyball, because they
But-
lose.
But, yeah, the idea that they lose because they're not as good of a team, but they push that team. It's a Rocky story, right? They push that team to the limit.
Yeah.
And they have nothing to be ashamed of. I like that lesson. Although losing sucks,
Can we mention Hoosiers real quick?
because
Because
Hoosiers, are you
I
going to
didn't
allow
put-
it to not be top 3?
I didn't put it on there just because I had 3 movies I liked better.
I think Hoosiers actually might, it's as good of a movie as it is now. Like, I really enjoy Hoosiers. I think it's a great basketball movie. I think with all the other movies that are an option, it's a little dated.
Like I didn't put it on my list, but it's
I'm not saying
Still great.
it's dropping below Eddie.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to reference Eddie on the show because everybody loves when Whoopi Goldberg coaches the Knicks. But I think it's like a 4 or a
Air
5.
Bud. Air
Juwan,
Bud.
man, guys, Air Bud's not getting. Air Bud is, for the record, for all those people that here's a little behind the scenes, previously recorded action. RP sends us a list of all the movies, and Air Bud is just sprinkled into each different sports movies. Not specifically, it just says Air Bud. So
Yeah,
like
'cause
football, Air Bud.
He
Baseball-
has
baseball,
movies
Air
for
Bud.
everything.
well, he's a very versatile.
Basketball,
ball
Air Bud.
He's a very valuable
I just need
player.
the subtitles. Now, well, the most valuable player is the MVP,
Yes.
and he's the most valuable primate as well. I almost didn't get that word out. So
No,
Coach
you,
Carter, number 3,
struggled with
Hoosiers.
that one, bud.
Hoosiers honorable mention,
Yes,
right? Great movie, but
just didn't make it.
just doesn't have the like. If I show Hoosiers to a 12-year-old kid now, they're gonna rather watch Coach Carter than Hoosiers.
Yeah, Hoosiers. It doesn't have as much rewatchability.
It doesn't
like,
hold up as much now.
First time you watch it, it's
yes,
incredible.
absolutely. All right, so well, number 2 now.
Well, I didn't do my 3 yet.
This one, I'm
Well,
gonna...
that wasn't. Oh,
No,
you,
that was just. I'm
Okay,
I'm
I
saying it
apologize.
because I didn't
Coach Carter.
include
I
it.
thought
I'm a real
Coach
piece of
Carter.
shit. What's your 3? Shane?
Yeah, I thought you said
My 3 is semi-pro.
Semi-pro kind of snuck under the radar, and I'm not sure what to do with it right now. So I'm not going to talk about semi-pro yet because it could still be my top 3.
It might have wandered into the top.
I like
for
semi.
me.
So why semi-pro, and then we'll talk about semi-pro for a little bit, just in case it becomes an honorable mention for everybody else.
Why do you think it's number 3?
Well, honestly, out of all the movies I've seen with Will Ferrell, it's one of my favorite to quote. Just if
Semi-pro is one of the most quotable movies.
It's
I think.
great.
The fact that Andre 3000 is in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you
Can't go
mean
wrong.
Coffee
So
Black
that's
or
your
Downtown Funky Stuff Malone?
Downtown.
I
Funky
prefer
Stuff Malone
Downtown
is what
Funky
I
Stuff
prefer,
Malone.
yes.
So that's your number 3.
Yes.
That's higher for me, bud.
Higher
It's
for you?
higher on you.
Wow.
All right, so here's what we'll
Yeah.
semi-pro is on the list. I don't think we're gonna have a definitive 1 or 2 for basketball. It's a little bit more difficult. Or 2 or 3 for basketball.
What do you
It's a
have
little more
semi-pro
difficult.
as?
I'll get to it.
So, all right, so
I was
semi.
gonna say if it was 2, I'd be fine with.
No, it's
with
number
switch
1.
to-
Oh my God. Spoiler alert. So Coach Carter's on the list. Semi-pro is on the list. I don't have to worry about semi-pro being on my list now because I know it's on both of yours. So since I put my stuff in no particular order, I might be able to squeeze one other movie in here. So now, what is your number 2 movie? Shane, we'll come right back to you.
My
Well,
2
alley-oop
is
this one to you, Shane.
Because this one, you kind of got thrown off. So now I want to see how you handle this. I don't want you to turn this ball
I
over.
want to hear how stupid your number 2 is.
my 2 is Coach Carter.
All right. Oh wow,
Wow.
you really dropped the
See,
bomb on us
wow.
there.
Cut me off
Yeah.
earlier. I was gonna say that.
Wow.
Where's the producer for this fumble? That's a football joke.
Aren't you the producer?
I don't know what I am. I thought that we had someone hired. Is Joe here?
You're
Joe?
You're the
We
fact
fired him.
checker.
Joe, are you here?
We fired him like that intern. She was lazy.
Yeah, that intern was lazy. She was
She also
really-
didn't exist.
yeah, she was fake and didn't get paid, but here we are just sipping on beers and not having a backup case.
All right, so your number 2 is that.
So I feel like Coach Carter's now locked in at 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
My number 2 is Space Jam.
And I just got very confused. Why Space Jam RP?
I love Space Jam. It is not the best basketball movie. It is not the greatest basketball movie. It's not even the greatest acting in this basketball movie, and half the characters are drawn. So they can make them look like whatever they want. That is just such an iconic basketball movie. It's just growing up. Space Jam was my basketball movie. I might be wrong here, but that is my number 2. Tell me why it cannot be my number 2. It's freaking Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes, people. The Looney Tunes, people. And Michael Jordan, when he's playing baseball, they're like, you know what? You suck. You need to come back to basketball. Plot twist. Bill Murray shows up.
Hey.
It's great.
Settle, buddy.
Monstars. Danny
DeVito.
They don't win that game if Bill Murray doesn't show up.
He does now.
He draws up the
They also
play.
don't win that game if Michael Jordan's arm stretch about 20 feet.
Bill Murray is the hero of the movie.
That might be the most important thing to take away from that. None of that movie matters if Bill Murray doesn't show up.
Bill Murray, if you're listening to this, which I'm sure you are, thank you.
Because it's the greatest podcast on podcasts.
Seen Zombieland.
That wasn't factually accurate. So, Bill Murray, great part of Space Jam. Space Jam, as far as just being a child, it's hard to argue against Space Jam. Being up there as a basketball movie. What I'm going to do, and
I don't think anyone is arguing that Space Jam is a basketball movie. That's not what you're saying, right?
As up there with a basketball movie as well. So Space Jam, it's in my top 3, I think.
I don't have it in my top 3.
So just because of the childhood aspect of it. But since RP said it, and this is why I always come unprepared with no particular order, because now I can switch things on the fly, I'm going to make the quick audible just to get White Men Can't Jump into a top 3 discussion.
Like it.
So now,
Woody
White Men
Harrelson.
Can't Jump, Woody
I
Harrelson,
like it.
Wesley Snipes, great flick, comedy's there, basketball's there, idea...
Actually, the games that they play are pretty entertaining to watch.
Very entertaining.
The King and the Duck.
The idea of hustling. Like
Legends.
the whole hustle thing.
Yes.
Nobody thinks Eddie Harrelson has any chance because he's the white guy. They know better.
The
Than
only-
him, like, not knowing what he's doing and
The
stuff
only
like that.
drawback you can say is Gloria, because she is pretty annoying.
She's very annoying, but that's also kind of like Rosie Perez's thing.
Yeah.
So there's not much we can do about that. So I'm going to take this opportunity as the scumbag of the show and just slide White Men Can't Jump into the conversation.
I'm okay with that.
I'd like to piggyback on that because that's my number 1.
All right, so
That's
that's
my favorite basketball
Shane's
movie.
number. So explain to me why it's your number 1. Let's go off of what White Man Can't Jump is capable of.
Just like what we were saying, the rewatchability.
Really
if I want to watch a
shows that they
basketball
can
movie,
jump.
I'm going to watch White Man Can't Jump.
That's true. RP makes a great point that in that film you realize that white men can jump.
Can in fact
So
jump.
what an ironic title.
Yeah.
They do have the ability to jump.
Yes, he does leave his feet at some point.
But that alley-oop at the end to win the game is a little far.
Well, let's save
Woody
alley-oops for
Harrelson
the
is
real,
Woody
the
Harrelson
real
is like
alley-oop
5'6".
movie.
He's not dunking a basketball. Let's get real here, guys.
All right, look, relax. He's
And
not
yeah,
5'6".
so RP with the segue.
My
the
number
real
1.
the real alley oop movie of all movies is
Semi-pro.
Foul.
Two
Fouls.
fouls.
You can't just go flying through the air like that.
Father Pat, she wouldn't lie to me.
You're gonna need the phone to heaven to call my mother.
Maybe,
Well,
your
maybe she
mother
didn't.
didn't go to heaven. All right, so explain this movie to me instead of quoting it.
Yes. This movie, for those who have not seen this incredible Will Ferrell movie, story of a basketball team trying to make it into the NBA. When the NBA decides to go become
It's the ABA.
It's the ABA, yeah. They decide to become the NBA. They got to narrow the teams down. 4 teams aren't going to make it. The Flint Tropics, which is Will Ferrell's team, doesn't make it because they're not that popular, they're not that good. They decide they go on a winning streak. They trade a washing machine for Ed Maddox, Woody Harrelson.
They really needed
If you
a washing
see a possum,
machine.
kill it.
If you see a possum, kill it. And he does all these crazy giveaways and promotions to
Try and put butts in the seats.
Like the
As
corn
they-
dogs at 100 points for
Yeah.
free.
Goddamn Fakitis.
Goddamn Vakitis, learn fucking English.
Jeez, language.
Yeah, this is a family podcast.
That's, his girlfriend's got big old boobies. I'm talking melons, people. It's just there's so many great moments
My
in that
favorite
movie
is,
that I quote
is
all the time.
The giant check where you can't
Yeah,
cash
you
his-
can't cash the
maybe,
giant check.
Maybe try going to a bigger bank.
Yeah, that's great.
Bigger bang.
A bigger bank.
Jackie. When they're playing the one team and they say, "We'll call a timeout because they're on TV," and they start fighting
Yeah.
at the commercial, and he said at the end after that, they're like, "Someone was out there grabbing balls." Now that was me. You have the softest hands.
It's a funny movie.
That's you on my balls.
ELE. Everybody loved it. That is just That
Not
has
your
to be for
definitive
me.
basketball movie.
It's not by all your standards.
Yes.
No, it is not your
Funny.
definitive basketball
No, not
movie.
definitive,
but
but
that is my
possibly
favorite
the
basketball
favorite,
movie.
yeah.
But since I'm playing the scumbag here and I've slid White Man Can't Jump in, and Space Jam has already been said, Semi-Pro or Space Jam is going to have to be my number one based on the shit list that I put together. And so, either way, neither of them are the definitive basketball movies. So I don't have a good argument against that.
White Man Can't Jump it is.
Go
Before
this.
we get to this,
White Man Can't Jump.
before we do that,
Coach Carter, semi-pro.
before we do that, let's talk about honorable mentions for basketball.
Wait, I
Because
mentioned
we forgot.
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers
Airbud.
we talked about.
Airbud.
Airbud is the basketball Airbud. Like
The-
that's the Airbud is
The
basketball.
best Disney movie.
So Airbud is legit.
High School
Luck-
Musical. High School Musical.
Luck of the Irish.
Oh,
Luck of the
yes,
Irish
yeah.
was something that I
Yeah.
watched probably
Legitimately-
1,000 times.
Fantastic.
Legitimately could consider that a number three.
Seriously good
legitimate.
basketball movies though that are basketball movies. Love and Basketball, Glory Road, Basketball Diaries, He Got Game. Uncle Drew I heard was god awful. I did not see. Hoop Dreams. Surprise appearance from Teen Wolf just because it's Teen Wolf.
And Michael J. Fox, baby.
So let's say RP. What'd you say? Semi-Pro 2.
I actually went semi-pro 3. Because
Coach Carter 2.
realistically...
Space Jam 1.
No, White Man Can't Jump, number 1.
Space Jam Falls Out.
Yeah, realistic, not for me.
Basketball film is White Man Can't
But
Jump.
I get beat 2-1 on that.
I'm alright with that. So Space
Yeah.
Jam falls out of it.
Yeah,
White Man Can't Jump is now a definitive
Number
top 10
one. Yeah, that's fine.
sports movie. I think that's the right call.
I'm impartial. I prefer with basketball. I like the funnier, lighthearted ones.
Semi-Pro can get in top 10.
Yeah, semi-pro.
just not a guarantee
Great.
right
I love that movie. I did not have an appreciation for that movie until
That Semi-Pro is
after it came out on,
probably
like DVD.
one of the most underrated
Love Me Sexy.
of Will Ferrell
Oh
movies.
yeah, people like shit on that movie. That movie's great.
Completely underrated. It's a great film.
Love Me Sexy.
So, alright. So, for
Take the
basketball,
word
Coach
naked
Carter
in my
3, Semi-Pro 2. No.
No.
Reverse. Strike that. Reverse it.
1, White Man Can't Jump.
Coach Carter 2, Semi-Pro 3.
Yeah.
1, White Man Can't Jump.
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
So now we go to the miscellaneous, and this is where things get very strange because we have multiple categories: boxing, golfing, swimming, tennis, track and field, soccer, other, which includes bowling, it includes bobsled, karate, dodgeball. If you didn't know what I was going to say there, box catchers, wrestling, balls and furies, ping pong.
Wait, what movies are about dodgeball?
I don't know. I know a couple of them. One of them is
What's it
entitled
called?
Dodgeball.
Oh, right, that one.
This is where things get weird. So we're going to do a top 7 here. We're not going to give a definitive one. So anything mentioned in this section of our show has a shot at making it to be a top film.
So since we are
Hockey as well here, which I
Yes.
just completely overlooked because I'm a piece of shit.
So at number 7, I'm gonna start this.
Yeah.
Number 7 is Green Street Hooligans. Like it would
So
be.
Green Street Hooligans, let's talk about it now then, because I'll say that that's my 7 just for the sake of the argument.
So it is not entirely focused on soccer. So Green Street Hooligans is a story of soccer in London, so football.
So basically, let me sum this up a little bit better than RP's
Yeah,
doing.
do it better than me.
Frodo Baggins moves to London. Everyone moves to London with people who
With
are
Jax
living.
Teller.
So he knows who's
After getting falsely kicked out of Harvard.
exactly. Now you can go back. I just wanted to make a Frodo Baggins reference.
Yeah. So in London, each soccer team actually has a fan group, and the fan group is a intense fight. Like they fight each other, like legitimately fight each other.
You sound like you're from London.
You sound like you're from London. So like after the games or before the matches, they all end up fighting each other. So this movie's about West Ham United's.
It's not so much about the soccer as it is about like
it's literally not
the
about
hooligans,
soccer
right? The
anymore,
hooligans who follow the soccer
Yeah.
teams in
It's
London.
not about soccer, but who cares? This is
So
our podcast.
do yourself a
we make the
favor.
rules.
Do yourself a
But
favor.
it revolves around
Yeah.
soccer.
Yes.
Everything revolves around
Yes.
the soccer, but it's more about the fans of those teams.
And there's just a really good story there, and Elijah Wood's great. in
If
that
you
movie.
haven't seen it,
If you haven't seen it, do
go
yourself
watch
a
Green Street
favor.
Hooligans.
Watch
I don't
it.
think it's going to make our top 10,
But it is
but
a
no.
it's worth a watch.
really good movie.
I think
What
we
is
can.
your 7?
I agree.
Green
Green
Street
Street
Hooligans.
Yeah, I
Hooligans,
think we
number
can go to
7.
6.
All right, so that's a 7. Again, we have a lot of other movies that we've already talked about, so I think that it's probably not going to make the top 10. Maybe we can make a case for it, but just do yourself a favor and
All right.
watch Green Street Hooligans.
Shane, what's your number 6?
So my 6, I actually just wrote in right now because Bob said bowling, and it reminded me of Kingpin.
Kingpin is
One of the Big
Fantastic.
it's
Lebowski.
got to be there. I don't think I
Kingpin
said this
is-
jokingly to somebody the other day about like the Big Lebowski being on this list, and the Big Lebowski there's 20 minutes of bowling. and the rest is about
Yeah,
the Big Lebowski.
but
It's
also
a great
one of the best,
20 minutes
it's one of the
bowling.
best scenes.
It's like Ace Ventura.
But it's not about bowling, so I don't think that that's a sports movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kingpin is your bowling movie.
It's a great movie.
Because it's hilarious.
Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray. What more do you need?
Bill Murray's hair in that movie is great.
His horrible comb over.
His comb over that like goes crazy while he's playing.
Doesn't Woody Harrelson have a wooden hand?
Yes.
That
There's
falls
not
off at
much
one
to
point?
be like.
There's a better wooden hand in Happy Gilmore.
There's not much to be upset about with Kingpin. So I like the idea of Kingpin as your number.
I had to take Caddyshack out to put Kingpin.
All
in.
right. Well, let's see if me being a scumbag can work Caddyshack back into this.
So my number 6. Sorry,
I remember
about
when I
that.
learned.
My number 6 is Creed.
All right. So explain Creed to me, and then I'm going to explain my mentality with the Rocky series here. Because I could give you a top 10 that's all Rocky movies.
Well, I think that is probably an upcoming episode at some point.
Yes,
It's just
Kinda
Rocky.
probably
Kinda has to be.
Stick around. That episode will be brought to you by
Totally Tease.
yes,
Legitimately
officially
Totally
by
Tease.
Totally Tease, but super not officially by.
Bob's just looking around the room right now.
Yeah, I'm looking for something to
plug
sponsor
stuff.
this episode, and I think it's just going to be sponsored by RP Walsh, and he's going to pay me and Shane extra money to do that one.
He did buy all this equipment, so it's
Hey.
kind of sponsored by
But
him.
he also forgot to buy us a case of beer for today, which is why you haven't heard quite as many cracks.
They're here though. We're drinking.
Why
we're
Creed?
conserving them.
Why
We gotta
Creed?
conserve them a little bit.
So Creed for me is one of the better Rocky movies, best Rocky movies. Michael B. Jordan, great standout performance. Rocky with the cancer, fighting the cancer. Ryan Coogler's direction and his ability to film those fight scenes. The way he filmed the boxing sequences
Who
in
directed Creed 2?
Creed. I'm not sure.
It
It's
wasn't
not
Ryan Coogler.
No.
The fight scenes were a little more.
Fun fact: Coogler is actually producing Space Jam 2, which we do not need.
Do you have another Rocky movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I have
and I'm
multiple.
alright with
It's not
Creed being in your top.
Oh
7.
yeah.
Creed is one of my top 3 Rocky movies at this point because I really enjoy Creed. But for me, I felt like I needed to pick one Rocky movie, a definitive Rocky movie to
And
put into this list.
If you're not from Philadelphia, Rocky is a legend here. And
So
that
Creed
is-
for you
we
might not be
literally,
support.
as much as he is, he's not a real person. But
We literally built a
basically he
statue
is.
for
The
a
most-
movie
We have a
character.
statue.
the
of
most
him, yeah.
famous Philadelphian of all time
Is
is Rocky
is a
Balboa, and he's
fictional-
not real. And we understand that, and we're Philadelphia douchebags, and
We're
I'm all right
idiots.
with it.
We're idiots. We worship a fictional
If you
character.
if you say who are your top 2, it's Rocky and then Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of people in this city who would disagree with me
Yeah.
because Rocky is the definition of what it means to be a Philadelphian. And so if you have a problem with that, then you can come fight me. This is one thing that I think that Miles Teller and I would agree on. So for me, I have to pick one Rocky movie I'm going to talk about later. It's not Creed, as much as I love Creed. Creed is third in my
Creed
head,
can
probably
get-
third best Rocky movie.
Creed. I'm gonna be this honest about it. Creed's gonna get booted from our top 7. I understand it.
probably.
I
But
accept it.
Creed is right now listed.
Yeah.
So that's what matters.
Alright,
so-
My number 6 is in no particular order, so I'm going to go through. I'm going to find a random movie that I have already listed. I'm going to go with Miracle.
I would put Miracle above Creed for sure.
I like Miracle. I like hockey. I'm a hockey fan. We'll talk about the tweets a little bit later. I know the Goon showed up a lot on the tweet. I've never really watched the Goon, so I'm
The Goon and Slapshot.
uneducated in that point.
Big.
I do
hockey
like
movies,
Slapshot, but I
yeah.
don't think that Slapshot holds up over time.
Goon's not like
The Mighty Ducks is like my
Wait, you're
go-to
talking about
hockey movie.
Goon, the Sean William Scott movie,
Yes.
right? It's not like a fantastic hockey movie. It's just a good
A
Sean
good
William
movie,
Scott
exactly.
movie. Yeah.
So this is my thing. Slapshot's your better hockey movie out of the ones that I just listed that weren't Miracle. Mighty Ducks is terrible hockey. Absolutely awful hockey. Great films. I like all 3 of them. I'll watch them till the day I die. But if you watch them when you're educated on hockey, they're miserable.
Well, yeah.
Miracle,
They
I
fucked the
think,
puck.
was filmed well. It's a good hockey movie. The speech, I know it's a true story, the Herb Brooks speech, but like
Kurt
Kurt
Fucking
Russell giving that speech, I'd run through a wall.
Yeah.
So Miracle is going to be my number 6.
I would argue that it could be.
It might be higher, but like I
Definitely
said, my
arguably
list is in
higher.
no particular order, so I'm throwing Miracle in here now, just so its name
Because
is it's now stuck on the wall.
Not
right?
only-
the name is on the board.
not only is it a true story, but it's also a story of college players and a bunch of nobodies coming in and beating literally the Monstars.
The real life Monstars.
Shane hasn't seen Miracle. You need to see it, bud.
I will.
I'm not big on hockey either. I enjoy watching hockey.
That's why I haven't seen it. I'm not the biggest
I
fan of
love
Miracle
watching
has
playoff hockey.
Miracle has a lot of
But
off-ice time where, like, and it's true. So, like, you get to know what these guys were like, and it's a bunch of college kids who come together playing the Olympics, and they're playing literally, like RP said, the Monstars of the time. And but who the Flyers beat?
Yeah.
Don't forget, the Flyers beat them. Those commies,
Goddamn commies.
pinko bastards. And so, I think Miracle is my 6, and we're just gonna kind of keep this going.
Okay.
Let's move right to number 5.
Shane, let me hear your number 5.
Dodgeball.
Okay.
Dodgeball is not on my top 7.
Well,
But
your
let
top
me-
seven is wrong
Let me tell you this, Shane. Though I'll tell you this right now.
What?
It took me a lot.
to take it off.
Like, I was sitting here looking at
It's tough, man.
all of them, because the hardest part about the miscellaneous section is that there's so many movies that are so different.
Hey,
Yes.
Bob, let me ask you a question. Can you dodge a wrench?
I can dodge a wrench.
You can dodge a ball.
Oh,
Can
my
you,
goodness
but can you
gracious.
dodge traffic?
I can't do that.
The
So maybe I
5
can't dodge a
Ds.
ball.
Dip, dive, dodge, duck,
And dodge.
It's
dip.
dodge, dip, duck, dive,
and dodge.
dodge.
That's what, yeah.
Dodge.
So,
I love that movie.
Dodgeball was, like, on the fence for me.
Is it the best Vince Vaughn movie? Between that and Wedding Crashers, probably, right?
I'm
It's Wedding Crashers for sure.
Wedding
That's not
Crashers
up
is
for
the
debate.
best.
That's not up for debate.
and I really enjoy the internship
Yeah, it's a good movie.
because Vince Vaughn goes, like,
I love when...
Vince Vaughn goes full Vince Vaughn in the internship.
Yeah.
I don't think they had a script for the internship.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think they were just
It's-
like,
it's
hey,
just-
It's
That's-
just
it's-
them
it's-
not
it's
understanding
just-
technology.
You know what
It's just
you're
Vince Vaughn.
I think it's a true story.
Yeah. It's just, like, Vince Vaughn is just like, no, I don't need lines for this. I'll make some dumb shit up.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
writer-
understand technology, so I'm just going to be myself.
So,
I imagine the
I
writers
really
going
like
up to
the
Vince
internship.
Vaughn with like, "Here, what we wrote," and he's like, "Nah,
Nah,
get
that's
that
fine.
out of my face."
I'll talk about being in a blender. But
Get that out of my
Dodgeball,
face.
Vince Vaughn is, like, not the funny guy in Dodgeball, which is the crazy thing.
No.
He is funny. He has funny lines.
Ben Stiller is the funny guy.
Oh,
And
of
Steve
course.
the Pirate, booty. When at the end when they see all the, like, the winnings.
Yeah, I love...
I
So
started-
I love Ben Stiller in that movie.
I'm alright with Dodgeball being, and that's one of the few movies I
Fucking
like.
Chuck
Ben Stiller.
Norris.
I'm
I
alright
started
with
liking
being on the
Dodgeball
list.
more once I developed the theory that it's Ben Stiller's character from Heavyweights.
Is
And
Which
once
makes
once
sense.
he leaves the fat camp,
heavyweights like be considered a...
No, it's not.
But
a
it's like an
sports movie.
exercise
It's a camp movie. It's a camp movie.
Yeah.
Which is another list we could get into. But
Ben Stiller movies.
Ben Stiller in Heavyweights,
Easily
because
the
it's
best
the
part.
same guy. It's
Yeah.
the same guy.
Absolutely.
It's
the
And
the
same
once you
guy.
figure that connection out, and you know it's the same guy,
It makes
then it
Dodgeball
makes
so
Dodgeball
much
so
better.
much
I love
better.
when
'cause
he's
it's like,
like-
oh my god, it's
How did he
him.
get
I love
here?
when he's like smelling the pizza and getting ready to stick it down his pants and someone walks in.
Michelle walks in.
Yeah. I fucking
Michelle, I told you not to disrupt my private time.
I love Dodgeball. That's such a good
Blade,
movie.
Laser, and Blazer.
All kinds of A's.
All right, so Dodgeball, I think we'll throw it on the list for now.
That's Shane's number 5.
That's your 5.
My number 5 is the greatest game ever played, which is a really good golf movie
It's not the best golf
with
movie.
Shia LaBeouf.
Why the greatest game ever played? I've seen parts of it. I've never watched it all the way through.
So the greatest game ever played. I remember I saw it multiple years ago on a Saturday, and I got sucked in, man. I really liked it. In terms of golf, that's my golf movie. That is the movie that I love. It's classic Shia,
Shia.
and it's just like representative of what back then golf.
What about the
could
Legend of Bagger
do.
Vance?
I don't even know what that is.
It's Will Smith.
I like that. I like the greatest game ever played more than I like Happy Gilmore.
See, if I'm going to golf movie, I'm actually going to go Happy Gilmore. And that's in my top 7, so I'll make it my 5 if you guys want.
Oh, thank you.
If all the listeners,
Since you,
You're just
if
so
that's-
generous.
if that's what all the listeners want to hear.
Happy Gilmore is
Since you
big on
mentioned
the
Will
listener
Smith,
list.
A movie that was really hard for me to leave out was Ali.
Ali
That's-
got left out for me too, and it was the same situation.
Ali has to get
there's-
left out for boxing.
There's
I know.
multiple
With
boxing
the Rocky
movies.
Yeah,
movies.
it's not the best boxing
Ali is
movie.
Ali's
It's
probably
such a good
my.
movie, though.
If you don't count the Rocky movies as one, I mean, if I count the Rocky movies as one, because then that's a whole another fight I have to have in my head.
My top 3 miscellaneous is boxing.
Ali's probably third boxing movie for me, but that's another conversation for another time.
His acting is just
So
so
if you're gonna
spot
go
on.
greatest game ever played, Happy Gilmore is my golfing movie, and you don't have to have golfed to enjoy Happy Gilmore. I think that's the part.
I mean, I don't golf with I've golfed like twice in my life.
But I'm saying I think that's what I enjoy about it.
It's
a
about
lot
someone who doesn't golf.
A lot. I mean, Caddyshack's the same thing.
And also, if you've ever been at a driving range and you didn't try the full
The
Happy
run-up,
Gilmore
yeah.
swing, you're a liar.
That's
Caddyshack is a great movie, but it just doesn't have like I know there are people who live and die by Caddyshack, and so don't get mad.
Yeah, it was tough for me to leave that off.
But I would watch Happy Gilmore before I watch Caddyshack.
Yeah,
and that's an age thing too for me. So I'm like older people who are older would enjoy Caddyshack. Happy Gilmore was like that movie for me.
Yeah.
So Happy Gilmore's on my list. It's a funny movie.
It's funny. I can't listen to Tuesday's Gone by Leonard Skinner. I think
without thinking of Chubbs in Heaven.
Or in the beginning opening scene where like his grandmom opens the door with the kiss mask on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was listening to that song on the way over here.
Like the grandmom story. Fun fact, if you didn't know, the love interest in Happy Gilmore is the mother from Modern Family. So I've actually been in love with her for my entire life. I just realized.
She's great.
She's no Veronica Vaughn though.
She is no Veronica Vaughn.
Veronica
Vaughn. Since we're on the sports episode, Veronica Vaughn married Pete Sampras, and he might have been the hairiest dude I've ever seen in my life. So she lost some points for me there. But she is one hot tamale, as the TV censored version would have said.
One hot piece of ace. All right, so
I'm gonna go Happy Gilmore here, just to kind of throw off your greatest game ever played here. So Happy Gilmore, I don't think anybody argues that Happy Gilmore is a good sports movie. It's just goofy.
It's fun,
and it's
fun.
Yeah, it's the semi-pro.
Yeah.
Of the miscellaneous section.
Yeah,
of course.
I would agree.
Number 5.
That was 5.
Shane, what was
number 4?
What was your 5?
5 dodgeball.
You dodgeball.
All right, I'm going to go first on 4 because I've been playing this game where I just am a dick and wait for everybody else to answer so I can add more people in. And so my number 4, although it could be higher, but I'm in no particular order and I'm looking at the name right now, is going to be the Karate Kid. The original Karate
Ralph
Kid.
Macchio!
Ralph Macchio. Mr. Miyagi. The Karate Kid.
That movie didn't even make my top 7.
I will watch every time.
It was hard to leave off.
No, I can't leave it off. The Karate Kid is the Karate Kid.
If anything, I would put that tied at my number 4.
I don't know if there's anybody that would like. I don't know that I have to tell you to go watch the Karate Kid. At this point, I don't know if you haven't seen it already, then you probably just haven't been alive. Yeah. I'm not talking about the Jackie Chan.
No, that one's terrible.
Jaden Smith one.
That's not the Karate
Which
Kid.
has redeemable qualities, but calling it the Karate Kid is what killed it.
I love Jackie Chan, but that movie's terrible.
They should have called it a Karate Kid.
If you call that movie like Karate,
yeah,
and it just kind of has a similar flow, then I'm all right with it.
But
it's not the Karate Kid.
Ralph Macchio's Karate Kid is the Karate Kid.
It's the Karate Kid.
Wax on, wax off.
The Karate Kid, the wax on, wax off scene, and then when he takes the car and he goes on the date and like all the fighting and stuff like that, and the whole like that movie spoke to me as a teenager, just going through what Ralph Macchio is going through.
Literally the most ridiculous Halloween costume I've ever seen. Where he's the guy in the shower.
Yes.
Incredible.
I wish I could do it. And then there's just the aspect of like, and don't tweet in or yell at us. I understand that he wins on an illegal move. I know. Rudy was offsides too, so you can all go fuck yourselves.
Have you seen the theory that he's actually the bad guy in the movie?
Well, he is the bad guy.
Ralph Macchio instigates everything.
It's the best
but I love
ever.
the Karate Kid. I love putting him in a body bag. I love all those like dumb lines. I love the stereotypical 80s villain, the guy with the blonde hair who's like super jock and like he's got his crowd around him. I just love the Karate Kid. So the Karate Kid is my 4.
I'll budge that's 5. I'll give
my
that
4
5
right now.
for me.
It's my 4.
I'll allow that into my 5.
Numbers right now don't necessarily matter.
This is kind of us just discussing, getting ready to discuss the top 10 of all time.
This is
Karate Kid is tied with my 4th just because I can't take my 4th off.
All right, so give me your 4.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory.
Cannot not have that on the list.
Very
good
I
movie.
cannot leave that off the list.
Pam is so hot in that
we
movie.
escaped to one song and one song.
That's another one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies.
So provocative.
It's like your thoughts are trapped like in a bottle.
My problem with all this, and this is what I try to stay away from, is I didn't want to go all comedy all the time.
No.
And so I'm glad that Shane is though.
See, that's why I want to do comedy as its own.
It would be, but we're not organized and we suck. So everything falls together because they're all sports movies. So I went Happy Gilmore. You go Blades of Glory. Blades of Glory. Give me 2 reasons why it deserves to be top 7.
I'll give you a reason why it doesn't. Will Arnett. Because fuck Will Arnett.
Is that the battle we're picking today? Do we hate Will Arnett?
I like him as Lego Batman. That's about it.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, I haven't talked about Miles Teller in a while, but that piece of shit's not in any sports movies.
I don't get the Will Arnett hate. Because have you seen Hot Rod?
I have seen Hot
He
Rod.
is
Hot Rod. Is Hot Rod a sports movie?
hilarious.
Yeah. Hot Rod's a sports movie.
I mean, he's a daredevil.
Hot Rod immediately injected into the top 7.
Hot Rod
Because
number 1. Here we
Hot
are.
Rod
It
is
was
lock
all
it in.
over.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Same thing with Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights is a sports
Talladega
movie.
Nights.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights is a sports movie.
Can we just do an episode on Will Ferrell movies?
Yes, that's
It's coming.
coming.
Has to happen.
It's coming.
Hey,
All right,
Spoiler alert. It's coming.
So here's just to give you guys an idea. In the coming weeks, we're gonna give you 3 actors, and we'll let you pick.
Yeah.
Who we want to do.
Yeah, you gotta set up a poll.
So we don't
I
know
will set up a
we don't know who it's gonna be yet, but stay tuned.
It's gotta be Seth
Give me all,
Rogen, right?
give me all,
The
give me all
three-
your, give me all the accounts though, real
Jesus
fast.
Christ.
Give me all the accounts.
So you can reach us at Twitter, on Twitter at previously are. Instagram is at previously recorded, and Facebook we're at previously are as well.
All right, so just keep an eye on those things, and we'll give you a list. We might do maybe we'll do 5 actors or something like that. You pick the ones that you guys want to hear about, and we'll get a comprehensive list of what their best movies are. All right, and then depending on
I will be running a poll on Facebook and Twitter for the
so
actors.
keep an
we
eye
want.
out for the poll, and if you follow
Yeah.
us on all of them, you'll see it, and then we'll figure out an appropriate guest depending on the actor, or we'll just be assholes and do it by ourselves. So Talladega Nights is technically there. Like Days of Thunder, this is a sports movie. It's not going to be anywhere on this list for me, but
It's not on my
Rubbing
list.
is racing, in case you didn't know. But you're saying Blades of Glory,
Yeah.
Will Arnett is good.
No, he's hilarious.
What? Give me another reason.
Will Ferrell. It's one of his best roles.
Just Will Ferrell being a fat, out of shape
John
figure
John
skater.
Hader.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Pulling Dynamite.
Is his name John Hader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John
You
Hader.
sound like a hater right now.
Yeah,
sure
seriously.
Shut it down. Show's over.
That's the end of previously recorded.
Yes, it is John Hader. Okay.
A reason to consider that movie up there, Pam Beesly is very hot. In that
Jenna
movie.
Fisher,
like-
in case
no,
you
I
were
like-
looking on IMDb.
Yes.
I like the part where they're trying to do that complicated move at the end.
Yeah.
And
With the
he
balls.
keeps slicing the mannequins'
Yeah,
heads off
yeah.
with like the.
Well, I'll
The
tell
Bill
you
Hader
my number 4 is Dodgeball.
All right, so Dodgeball already listed. We kind of talked about it already. Is there anything you want to add about the Dodgeball?
Pretty much we said everything.
Dodgeball is Dodgeball.
Dodgeball's Dodgeball.
All right, so now-
I can't have Blades of Glory in a top 7 on previously recorded. I just can't. I just can't.
But it's on the list right now.
It's on the list.
It's on
but
the
I just
list.
can't.
So let's go. Number 3. We'll start with our P here.
Rocky 2.
Rocky 2. Rocky versus Apollo. Again,
Again.
this time.
A lot of people argue that this is the
works
best
out
Rocky
better
movie.
for Rocky. I will argue against it.
Yeah.
I know my brother has been in my ear and he's convincing me that I think I know what Rocky movie is going to make my list.
Okay.
So why Rocky 2?
This time he wins. He it's
The beginning
essentially it's the same
But-
movie as number
Yes.
1.
The beginning
but
of
he's-
Rocky 2 is so much funnier though.
You
Yes.
could argue that he could have won the first fight, but since he wasn't the champ, he didn't get it.
True.
I mean, Rocky 1. I'm gonna spoil it.
He
Rocky
did get
1
him-
is my number 1
he
sports
did get
movie
him
in my
quite a
miscellaneous
good
category.
hits.
Okay, that's
Rocky.
fine.
Yeah.
So Rocky 2 for now though. Rocky 2 has the zoo scene where he proposes. Hilarious.
Would you marry me?
Then the the marriage itself,
Yeah.
where the guy talks about condominiums.
Condominium.
And I don't ever use
'em.
condoms. I don't know anything about condominiums. I don't use them.
I don't use them.
But Rocky 2 is so Rocky 2. We have Creed now. We have Rocky 2 in our list.
Just for the record, I know it wasn't stated, but Miracle is in my top 7. Like I didn't state it, but Miracle is in my top 7. I just didn't say it.
That's fine. We
It's
already
in
talked
there,
about
yeah.
Miracle, and that's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
It's in there.
What is your number? What are we at? 3 or 4?
3.
3. What is your 3?
I agree with Rocky too.
Rocky 2.
Yeah.
For me,
Alright.
I mean,
It's
love
not my
Rocky.
favorite Rocky movie.
No, it's
Here's
not mine either.
here's
But
what I get to
I
do
agree with
because I'm in no particular order, and then I think we're gonna kind of. Well, RP already said Rocky 1 is 1. Is there any other Rockies so I can close this out?
No.
All right, so we now have in our definitive list Rocky 1, which RP will talk about a little bit, Rocky 2, and I'm going to make the argument for Rocky 3. I love Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is my Rocky movie. I love it, but it's so outlandish. My brother in recent months has made me realize the importance of Rocky 3.
I
Rocky's
think
great
Rocky
with
3
Clubber
might be my
Lang.
favorite Rocky
Rocky 3 is Clubber
The
Lang.
Hulk.
Rocky 3 is the Hulk. Rocky 3 is what are your predictions for the fight? Pain. Rocky 3 is the running on the beach with Apollo.
Yep.
Rocky 3 is the fight.
Which is, you could argue,
With
is
movie. The shortest shorts of all time.
Yes,
Yes.
possible. Larry Bird might have been shorter, but shortest shorts of all time. And Rocky 3 is also the scene at the end because he has now beat Apollo in 2.
You never know
lost
who wins.
to Apollo in 1. Ding, ding, right? So Rocky 3 is going to be the Rocky that I put into my list. And
I want to be
Brian,
honest.
you had a say
with
in that.
top 3 in Rocky 2. I'm so easily. I can be easily budged.
Swayed.
With Rocky.
All right, so
right
now we have 1, 2, 3 in Creed, and I'm fine with that. So we have that's your 3. That's your 3. Shane, what's your 3?
He had Rocky 2, right?
Rocky.
No, Rocky 3.
Rocky 3.
All right,
so
Rocky
that's
3.
very definitive.
That's
Anything you want to say about Rocky 3 before we move on?
No, actually, I was gonna say Rocky 2, but then you just changed my mind.
All right, and my brother changed my mind.
I mean,
so
Rocky 3 is Rockies 1 through 4, and I mean, even I love Rocky Balboa.
I do love Rocky Balboa
They're
too.
interchangeable at this point. But I mean, so we're gonna settle with 3
I think
at number 3,
if
which
we
I'm fine with.
Even if we do a Rocky episode, the only thing we're gonna settle on is that 5 is the worst.
5 is the
Five is
That's
the
the only thing we're gonna agree on.
If you think 5 is better than any other Rocky movie,
Stop listening.
Come-
Tweet us.
yeah, tweet me
Tweet
your
us
address so I can
and
come fight you.
Literally tweet us why, because I
And
want
I
to
will-
hear that.
I want to hear the
argument.
argument. Yeah,
I want to hear the
it
argument.
sucks.
I really do.
It sucks.
It really sucks.
All right, so because of my lack of preparation in the way that I'm playing this, I'm gonna give my number 2 because it doesn't deserve to be a number 2, but this is where it fell in. Talladega Nights was not on my radar, and it probably should be my number 2, but I want to stick to my script.
Okay.
And
Is it
I'm
Talladega
actually
Nights?
gonna lie to you and take Cool Runnings out and put Talladega Nights in.
All right.
Talladega Nights is up there.
Talladega Nights can definitely be in there. There's like every Will Ferrell movie. There's a shit ton of quotable lines from that
Yeah, of
movie.
course.
It's fun. It's funny. The ending is nonsense, which is why it's great. It's a NASCAR movie, which we don't have many.
I
of.
don't like NASCAR.
It
but
does.
I love Talladega Nights.
It's making a left turn.
It does make NASCAR kind of interesting for the movie,
And it's hilarious.
which I didn't think would be possible.
So let's run.
Because NASCAR is boring.
We're gonna run through because there's a chance that we put some Twitter votes into this top 10 list.
Well, my number 2 is different from that, obviously, and probably Shane's as well.
So what's your number 2?
Well, let's let Shane go number 2 as well first.
My 2 is Rocky 1.
All right, which Rocky 1's already on the list.
It's one of my favorite Rocky.
So
Well,
we
Wopey
can
is number
yeah.
one. My number
Yeah,
1.
that's your one. So we already have that, so we can kind of keep going because I want to. So Rocky 1.
Mine.
We'll get back to that, Shane. When we're
My
on the
number
first
2.
spot.
My number 2 is The Fighter, which I think is arguably the best boxing movie out there. True story. Christian Bale, amazing, spot on performance, creepily spot on because it's like he is the brother. Great Amy Adams and great Mark Wahlberg. It's Mark Wahlberg's best movie. It's a great David O. Russell. I'm going to be honest with you guys. David O. Russell, literally everything he does except Joy, because I haven't seen, I love.
The things Christian Bale is willing to do
Christian
to get in
Bale's
shape
crazy.
for a
Have
movie.
you ever seen the meme where it's like
He's
tell
batshit crazy.
tell the girl you look like Christian Bale, just not which one?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the
Vice,
Machinist?
And it's
American
like-
Hustle, The Machine.
Yeah.
The
The Machinist. He weighs like 90 pounds probably.
I mean, in
That's
The Fighter,
one where he's
ridiculous.
in The Fighter, he's down. He's about the same. He's a crackhead. He's playing
he's
a
nuts.
crackhead.
It's crazy.
and
knowing
his
him,
performance
he
is
probably
amazing.
did crack to get in character for
Probably.
the role.
And I'm not gonna argue it.
He's amazing in that movie because at the end they show like a scene by scene comparison
Yeah.
of the real brother and him, and he's spot on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a landed statement. I think he's the best actor of our generation.
All right. Well, let's.
He's better than Leo.
You've been drinking.
Well, I have. He's better than Leo. He's better than Robert Downey.
He's not my.
This is not the argument we're having right now.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm gonna put it out there. Maybe
Yeah.
you guys can think about it.
I don't
Read
want to
about
think
it.
about that. I want to make.
I'll just
sure.
say I love Christian Bale. He's fucking nuts.
So
But-
your 2 and 1 are flip flopped for me.
With you,
I
yeah,
have
because they're
Rocky,
interchangeable.
and then the Fighter is number 1.
This is upsetting to me.
What's your number 1, Bob?
My number 2. Well, my number 1 and my number 2 are off because of the way that we did this. Right, and so what did I say? 2 was Talladega Nights.
2 is Talladega Nights, yeah.
So now my number 1, just to have it on the list. This is not necessarily my top movie, but I think it deserves to be mentioned here. Is the Mighty Ducks. And
See-
I'm not even saying 1. Mighty Ducks 2 I prefer. So Mighty Ducks 2 is my favorite.
I had Mighty Ducks 2 down as number 3, but then you made Brian's compelling argument for Rocky 3, so I had to take it out.
So the Mighty Ducks 2 is the best Mighty Ducks movie.
Yeah.
They're playing in the Pan Am Games. They're playing against Iceland. You lost it for me. You lost it for yourself. All the great lines from the Mighty Ducks 2. But the Mighty Ducks, just the series as a whole, it's hard to just overlook, which we apparently decided we wanted to do. But
see, that's why
that is your hockey movie. If the Sandlot is your baseball movie, and Little Giants was your kid football movie, the Mighty Ducks was your kid hockey movie.
Yep.
And so the Mighty Ducks earned a place somewhere on this list. And so it's not my number one. It is my number one because I'm unorganized and this is the way that I work. But it's not my number one overall.
But don't overlook our kids' soccer movie, Bob, which was The Big Green, of course.
Kicking and screaming.
Our kids' soccer. You weren't
Also
a kid
great
when that
soccer
came
movie.
out. Yes, The Big Green, great because they're all the same. It's like Sandlot, Mighty Ducks, The Big Green, Little Giants. It's kids playing a sport. It's hilarious.
The Big Green had the catcher from Sandlot too, so
it did.
he brought
it had
all
him.
the same.
You're
Is that your sister out there? And
It also had
Shirtless?
a green goat, which is hard to look past.
all right, so now we gotta make a list.
We do.
Well, what did we go with number one?
For miscellaneous, there's.
I mean, I could put up Rocky.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you want to give him miscellaneous? You want to give him miscellaneous?
My
a
miscellaneous.
guaranteed spot.
Yeah, it's Rocky has to be the guaranteed.
The original Rocky.
Yes, that's one of the most
fine,
best sports movies of all time.
I think if we're gonna do a top 10 right now, we should start with our number
before
one
we do that,
and then go down. I think
And
that's
go
the
down?
easiest way
no,
to do it.
before we do that,
Down the one.
I think that we need to. We guarantee that we look at these Twitter accounts. I think we need to see if anything works its way into this conversation.
All right, so we can look our way. I mean,
So let's go through Twitter.
we'll go through Twitter before we go through our top.
Yeah. All right. Go through Twitter.
So we're gonna
and
start
then
with
let's give
Twitter.
some lists.
So this list is coming from @GoodBecky, and I'm gonna list them from 1 to 10.
And if any of these work their way into the conversation, we'll throw them on the master list.
So this one comes from @GoodBecky. First off, if you tweet it to us or respond to our Facebook post or our Instagram post, thank you. Legitimately, thank you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it, and we're just trying to give away some free shit. So rock our swag, stuff we all get, swag. Michael Scott. All right, so this one comes from @GoodBecky. She has her number 1 is Slapshot. Number 2 is Field of Dreams. Number 3 is Miracle. Number 4 is The Sandlot. 5, Happy Gilmore. 6, Space Jam. 7, Mighty Ducks. 8, Coach Carter. 9, The Waterboy, which we actually never even talked about.
We didn't.
And-
I mentioned it.
And 10, Angels in the Outfield.
All right. I think that we covered most of those at some point. Angels in the Outfield hits that like child baseball movie. The Waterboy falls into that comedy characteristic, and I don't think that any of us are angry about our football movies for the Waterboy to take
No, our footballs are
to get in. So
Yeah.
So this next one, so that's another one. So our next one comes from @Johnny_Cahill.
hey, by the record,
This is
Mr. Cahill.
You got a lawsuit coming your way, buddy.
Yeah, just be ready for the subpoena
So his
or whatever
tweet
it's called.
reads, "This is in no
You
particular
will be
order,
served.
but these are 1 through 10. Coach Carter number 1. Remember the Titans at 2. Space Jam at 3. Rocky 4. Friday Night Lights at 5. Rudy at 6. White Man Can't Jump at 7. Southpaw at 8, which is just honestly moronic at this point because
I've never
there's
seen
so
Southpaw,
many good
but I don't
boxing
think
movies.
it hits the boxing.
That is moronic, but I did
9
forget.
Miracle and 10 Airbud.
I did
A lot
forget
of
to
those.
honorably mention Southpaw because it is actually a very good.
Yeah,
movie.
but there's
A lot
so
of
many
those-
more
But it's
boxing
not-
movies.
on there.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Also,
movie.
Airbud, if it is in your top 10, guys, I'm sorry. It just can't be a
It
top
shouldn't
10
be.
sports movie. Our next one comes from Brian Voigt, or Voigt Brian, sorry, on Twitter. That's Bob's brother. His number 1 is Remember.
Where's Rocky 3 on his? Just to make it.
4.
Okay.
So number 1 is Remember the Titans. 2 is Goon. 3 is Major League. 4 is Rocky 3. 5 is The Mighty Ducks. 6 is Happy Gilmore. 7 is The Sandlot. 8 is The Rookie. 9 is Dodgeball. And 10 is Three Ninjas. He said he might throw up replacements into that list, but said at 8 or 9. But
The Three Ninjas
Ninja
is in
stays
there,
on
and I
top.
agree with that. And that's the thing. We were like kind of raised on that movie, so I understand Three Ninjas. Love Three Ninjas. Karate Kid for me
And
is the better film.
this next one on Twitter comes from @ColeanZC.
That's Colin, dude.
It's
One
just
of
Colin,
one of our
which is-
great, one of
I know
our
who it
favorite
is.
followers, obviously.
Well, no, actually, he's a big supporter of the podcast. So, number 1 for him is Rudy. Number 2 is Angels in the Outfield. 3, Space Jam. 4, Foxcatcher, which we didn't even bring up.
No, but good wrestling movie. There's not a lot of those.
5, The Sandlot. 6, Rocky. 7, Dodgeball. 8, He Got Game. 9, Happy Gilmore. 10, Jerry Maguire.
Speaking of wrestling movies, that was like an amateur wrestling movie. I want to bring attention to those of us who think that wrestling is fake, just the fact that the wrestler and Ready to Rumble exists. So keep an eye out for those.
All right, so that list is pretty
So
solid. Now we're running to.
Do you think any of those lists, any movie from those lists deserve to be on this list?
I mean,
Like,
some of the
deserve-
ones that we have, that that we've left
I'm saying,
out.
should we leave any on?
The ones that they have that we don't know.
Is there any one that's like
No.
like definitive? All three or all four of those had them and we didn't?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We also have ones from Facebook as well that I can read off. There's one called from Roger from Philadelphia that has Prefontaine as number 9 on their list, which I've never even heard of.
Yeah, I also have not heard of that.
You also have Basketball, which I
Basketball,
have heard of.
great movie. I don't think it's gonna go in my top 10, but what a flick! Basketball is.
One that does kind of reappear a couple times. One came in through a text, a tweet, was Brian's Song. We don't have that.
Brian Song, big football movie. Another movie that I don't think stands the test of time. If I show Remember the Titans to somebody now, they'll watch it. If I show Brian Song to a kid now, they don't care.
When the Game Stands Tall was another one we left out, but that's more of a religious movie. I'm okay with leaving that
out. Hey, there's
out.
a volleyball movie for those of you who are interested in volleyball.
Yeah.
Go out there and watch it. Check it out. I don't remember what it's called, though. All right, so...
And then we also have a list from Instagram as well, where everything we mentioned is kind of on here. The Wrestler is one that... Fight Club actually was on this list.
I don't know that I would consider that a sports movie.
I would not. So sorry.
I understand the
TD
aspects
Bark,
of it, but...
we are not including your Fight Club on this list.
All right, so here is our definitive list that we now need to make a top 10 out of, preferably is soon, so that you're not listening to us for 2 hours. So, Remember the Titans, locked.
Yeah.
Sandlot,
Locked.
White Men Can't Jump,
Locked.
We don't know where they're going to stand, but they're locked. Rocky, the original Rocky is locked. On top of that, we have Rudy, The Express, Varsity Blues, The Replacements, Moneyball, Field of Dreams, Bad News Bears, Major League, Coach Carter, Semi-Pro, Miracle, Mighty Ducks 2, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Creed, The Fighter, Happy Gilmore, The Greatest Game Ever Played, Green Street Hooligans, Talladega Nights, The Karate Kid, Dodgeball, Blades of Glory, and Kingpin. Alright? So we have a full list here, and I think that the only way to do this is the democratic way.
Like I said, I think we should do.
But we have
number
our
one
we have
first.
our 4 that are locked. And
Yeah.
so you want to figure out from those 4 because you know that they're the best in their respective things. So we're going to say these are the top 4.
Yeah.
Are these 4 our top 4? We have to figure out where they're at.
Well, if we're going to go top 4, it'd have to go, I think it...
So what I'm saying is, can Major League jump White Men Can't Jump?
No.
It's the second best baseball movie or whatever wherever we had it.
The only category that I think can jump any of our number 1s
Is
the miscellaneous because of
Because
Rocky and the
boxing.
Fighter.
The various miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So then I think that the job we know that we have to do Remember the Titans. We know that we have to do Sandlot. We know we have to do White Man Can't Jump. We know we have to do Rocky 1. I think that what we do here is we vote off until we get down to 10 and then we arrange them.
That's fine.
So if this is your definitive list, democratically, what do we kick off? So RP, what do you think doesn't deserve to be on said list?
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, not a top. Do you agree with that, Shane? 2 votes gets it off.
Yeah, I agree. Hold on,
All
let me readjust this so I can come closer.
So Happy Gilmore is now gone. Shane,
I gotta take something off.
you got
As
it.
much as it hurts, I think I gotta take Green Street Hooligans off
All
just
right,
because
and
it's a great movie, but it's not top 10.
All right.
And ideally sports movie, too. It's not really.
Green Street Hooligans, again, if you haven't seen it,
Yeah, still see it,
go
but
check it out. All right.
Um,
I would take off. I don't want to do it, but I would take Blades of Glory out.
yeah, Blades of Glory's off.
All right, so that's 2. It's out.
Fuck
I'll
you,
just
Shane.
go fuck myself.
Fuck
It's fine.
you.
It's fine,
Yeah,
guys.
Shane sucks. We don't really want him here anyway.
Um,
Now it's your turn, RP.
Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears is also out.
I think does anybody
I
have?
agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I
I don't think it's
Yeah.
top 10.
I
I agree. Shane,
Shane.
I want you to be the one to take your own movie off right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take Dodgeball.
That's not even the one I wanted you to take off.
Dodgeball's
You wanted
rough
me to
for
take
me
Kingpin, didn't
to
you?
kick that out.
What?
Which one do you want me to take
The
out?
Express.
Go ahead, take it out. It's fine.
Dodgeball, I think
All
should
right.
stay on
Dodgeball gets saved. The Express is
there. I
gone.
think Dodgeball should definitely stay on there.
All right. Keep it moving. Ooh, I'm going to be the dickhead here. No, I'm not. I'm going to be greatest game ever played.
I'm fine with that.
It's
in
cool.
terms of top 10.
At some point, I'm
going
going to be the villain on this show because I already know which one I don't want here.
Alright, it's me. I'm going to kick Mighty Ducks 2.
Mighty Ducks 2 is gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that the boot. Nobody
Wow.
vetoing that.
I mean, you need 2 people to agree.
Yeah, it's fine.
And you guys are fucking communists, so that's fine. No big deal. Wait till I fucking. All right, what's next, Shane?
I hate to do it, but I think I gotta get Kingpin out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I don't think we can have a bowling movie in the top 10.
I like that Kingpin made it this far, and now I'm gonna be.
If you haven't seen Kingpin, go watch
I'm
Kingpin.
again,
it's
I don't
great.
have to be the asshole just yet. Talladega Nights from this list, I think I can get rid of.
That is
Yeah.
fair. I think there's only going to be one Will Ferrell movie on this list. It's going to be Semi-Pro.
It's gonna be Semi-Pro.
If Semi-Pro isn't on the list, then I quit the podcast.
All right, so hey, what are we doing here?
I think in terms of top 10, we got to give Creed the boot.
Yeah, I think there has to be one Rocky movie.
And I think Creed is not better than Rocky 1 or 2. Or even maybe 3, maybe. I think it could be better than 3, but
I would
1 or 2.
I would say
don't
1,
think
2
it's
Creed.
better.
All right, so Creed is
Yeah,
gone.
Creed's out.
Um,
I think Major League could probably go because we have.
can I argue? Can I make my statement right now? Because this is going to be a fight, and I know it's going to be a fight. I don't want the fighter on it. I don't think it's a top 10.
I think that's probably the best boxing movie.
I don't think it's a top 10.
Rocky
Rocky 1, you just argued that you made the case that Rocky 1 is the best boxing movie because it was
well,
the number one miscellaneous.
It has. I feel like Rocky has to be, but I was having this conversation off mic with Shane about the fighter being. I think the fighter is the best boxing movie.
But if you look,
But it has
like,
other fact. The main factor in that movie
is it the
Christian
best movie
Bale.
because of Christian Bale, or is it because of the actual boxing?
It's not because of the actual
No,
boxing.
it's not
That's
the
why-
sports.
but-
It's just the fact that
Or
Christian Bale
really
is
the
willing to be a
preparation.
fucking crazy person.
I think it has to go.
or the preparation.
All right, so Shane says it has to go.
Yeah, I think it has to go.
So buy the fighter. I'm very happy about
Fuck.
that. Which we also probably have to get rid of 2 Rockies if we're gonna say Rocky 1 is a definitive
Well, Rocky
Yeah,
2
I
is
think
going.
I think only Rocky 1 has to
All right,
go on the
well then
list.
that narrows this down a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Rocky
Brian,
2 and
but
3 gotta go.
Hey,
Yeah.
big shout out, bro. Rocky 3. Fuck shit up.
I think
So we still have to get rid of.
I think we might be able to boot Rudy too.
We have to get rid of 6 more.
I mean, it's like a definitive movie, but I think
I think we
Rudy
can
go.
get rid of Coach Carter.
Coach Carter.
If White Man Can't Jump stays, then I'm okay with Coach Carter.
All right, Coach Carter's going.
That was
All right, so Coach Carter. I'm gonna go dodgeball. I don't think it's on here. No, you know what? I'm gonna leave dodgeball because right now we're at 4 baseball movies, and
Well,
I think that we have to
baseball
figure that
has
out.
the best sports
But I think we have to
movies.
figure that out.
I think Moneyball can go. Out of all the sports movies on there, I think Moneyball.
So
Can
I'm
go.
leaving this up to Bob. I mean, it was my number 1.
Moneyball's not my top 3, so by that logic, Moneyball can go.
You guys suck.
RP, are any of your movies still on here?
Yeah.
I think you just have a bad list because
I
Rudy's
remember
next.
the Titans.
Rudy's on the chopping block.
If we're going top 10 sports movies, Rudy can go.
Yeah. Fuck you, Rudy. The only person that put you on this list is just abandoned you. That's how much you suck. All right, we need 2 more.
Varsity Blues.
Shane's never seen it. That's not even fair.
Duke it out, guys. Make your arguments.
Seen it either.
All right, so it's just 2 people voting off a fucking movie they've never seen.
Well,
This
Bob,
is
make
why
your argument.
democracy
Wait.
doesn't work.
Make your argument for why it should stay. If you really think it's the iconic,
I can't make an argument to you if you've never seen it.
if it's the iconic football movie.
All right, I'm gonna tell everything that I'm gonna explain to you. You're gonna be like, oh, all right, well, if I could explain Varsity Blues better than the movie itself, then I'd have $1 million fucking dollars. It's a movie for a reason.
All right, you know
I
what
can't argue that with 2 people who don't know it. I could tell you, it's a great high school football movie.
I
It
will
kind of gives you the whole
say-
idea of it. There's the whole high school
I
love
know-
aspect. There's all
I
these
know
different
what we need to
characters.
do. I know what we need to do. Pause recording. We're gonna watch Varsity Blues.
I will say
Wait.
on the people that
Okay, guys, we're back. We just watched Varsity Blues.
And it's still
It's
gone
not-
because they don't give a fuck.
I will say, and people that reached out, Varsity Blues might have been on. I don't think it was on anybody's list.
No, it isn't because people don't understand life. So now you got to get rid of 1 more, and then we got to figure out what our number is.
I think in terms of the ones that are left, dodgeball probably has to go.
So dodgeball legitimately makes it down to the final 11, and that's when we shit on it.
I feel like that's when it probably have to go because the
That's
ones
fine.
that are on there need to stay.
Yes.
That's rude, but
I love
it's like
dodgeball.
Russian police, you know.
Yeah,
Stern.
stern but fair.
Stern but fair. All right, so now you're top 10. All right, get your pencils ready. Remember, in no particular order yet. Remember the Titans, Sandlot, White Man Can't Jump, Rocky 1, The Replacements, Field of Dreams, Major League, Semi-Pro, Miracle, The Karate Kid.
I think number 10.
I think
We can put Karate.
I think the
number 10
I
might
think
be
the Karate Kid stays as number 10.
Yeah, I think that should be number 10.
All right. So
Num-
now, do you want to count down or you want to count up?
Let's count down. I think it's easier to count down.
So what's your number? You have 9 left. What's your number 9?
I think number 9 you can make an argument for semi-pro.
I don't think semi-pro should probably be any higher than 9.
Yeah.
Semi-pro should probably be number 10.
I agree.
But I'm alright with
9 or
it.
10.
Yeah, I'm alright with it being number 9. It's just the idea, like, semi-pro is with the exception of Major League, which has a lot of, like, good elements. Semi-pro is basically the only comedy that made the Final 10.
The replacements.
The replacements I don't consider a comedy either. It has funny moments.
Yeah, it's same with Major League.
More,
it has
Major
its funny
League
parts,
and the replacements are more drama than comedy.
Yeah.
Semi-pro is more comedy than drama.
And speaking of the replacements, I think that should be number 8.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm alright with that.
That's fine.
All right, so the replacements locked in at number 8.
When we get to top 5, that's when it's going to get sticky.
Well, because somebody's going to jump one of these locks, and that's the problem. All right, so now we have number 7. Remember the Titans, The Sandlot, White Men Can't Jump, Rocky 1, Field of Dreams, Major League, Miracle. So here's your issue. All right, I'm going to explain this to you very simply. Field of Dreams, Major League can't go under The Sandlot. So we kind of have to figure that out now.
So you're saying 7 and 6 are Major League and Field of Dreams, which is
I'm not, because Field of Dreams and Major League can jump anything else.
Huh.
But unless you say The Sandlot is the best
That's what we decided.
sports movie of all time, not baseball, sports movie.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams and The Sandlot, or Field of Dreams and Major League need to start falling in.
I was going to say mine for numbers was 7.
7
Was going to be Major League. That was my number 7.
All right, that's all right.
That's okay with me.
I'm all right with going, and this is jumping ahead. I'm all right with going Major League, Miracle, Field of Dreams, and figuring out these top 4.
That was
Anybody have a problem with that?
That was my
All
that was where I was going.
So then we just got to figure out your top 4. So now it becomes Remember the Titans, Sandlot, White Men Can't Jump.
Well, I think there's a lock at number 1 with Remember the Titans.
You think
right.
It's the best sports movie of all time?
Put it in there.
It's hard. I mean, you could argue Rocky. You could argue.
Well, then I think you're saying Rockies 2 then.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, and then we got to figure
All
out
right,
3 and 4.
well, let's hold on.
It's tough.
It is tough. There's a lot. There's a lot of movies to narrow down.
What did we say? Field of Dreams, Miracle, Major League.
We have Major League, Miracle, Field of Dreams.
All right, that's fine. All right, so then I'm gonna go White Man Can't Jump as 4.
Yeah, and I was gonna go.
Yeah.
I was gonna go Sandlot 3, Rocky 2.
So then it becomes Rocky versus Remember the Titans.
And this is where we have to duke it out, and we all have to make our strong arguments for what should be number 1.
All right, and now so the question becomes, what is your qualifying? Like what makes a number 1 sports movie?
What movie would you rather watch right
Well,
now?
it's not.
That's
It's
not
not.
a good answer,
It's
'cause I've
not.
seen them both 1,000 times.
Well,
No,
the thing with
that's-
what makes the better sports movie is what embodies the sport, what talks about, what just represents sports the best. And to me, yeah, they're individual sports and what have you, but sports is really about playing as a team, and nothing really.
You're not gonna say that Rocky won. Rocky doesn't have a team,
Well, no, they do, but it's when Rocky's out there performing, it's Rocky.
but it's
It's his left,
more
it's
than
his
that.
right. Well, no, it is. You can, but in
That's
terms,
like saying in Creed, Rocky's not important.
I'm not saying he's not, but ultimately, who's out there making the moves?
I'm just saying.
Who else is there though?
I don't think the team argument works here, because Rocky's not Rocky if he's by himself. It's everybody around Rocky that makes him Rocky.
We were just talking about the qualifications for a sports movie. What embodies a sports movie the best? If you're showing a sports movie, not just for watching it on your own game, and like you want to see a sports movie. Sports movies are about teams coming together, working through controversy, working through the hard times, overcoming the odds.
What I'm saying is,
and if you want to talk about odds, Rocky's got the biggest odds of all
what
time.
I'm saying is, Remember the Titans and Rocky both have that.
Yes.
So I don't think that I think we can take that argument out. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they both do that, so that one's not. Neither of them win in that category. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then it becomes rewatchability. It becomes
I think they're
better
kind of,
message overall.
they're kind of equal rewatchability.
They are equal rewatchability.
If you put either one on, I wouldn't mind.
I would probably say I would probably watch Remember the Titans over Rocky. I feel like
How much of that has to do with time?
they're about the same.
I agree with you. I just feel like Remember the Titans
Same
goes faster than Rocky.
Yeah, it does. It does, and
There's a lot of
there's more
downtime
to
in
it. It's a fresher movie. It's newer than Rocky's older. Rocky has some slow moments. I feel like Remember the
That's
Titans
what I'm
does
saying.
not.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you on that.
We got the better soundtrack. It's more upbeat. It's more fun than Rocky. But Rocky is also very depressing, which sometimes sports can be.
So,
so is Remember the Titans.
Let's
It's
do
about
Titans.
segregation.
let's do
Well,
this.
and
Which one is your one?
Yeah, and
that's
I'm
very
sorry.
depressing.
Majority rules. Which one's your one?
I probably Remember the Titans. Yeah.
All right, then there it is. All right, so here's your definitive
Democracy, you son of a bitch.
democracy. I'm going to throw up again tonight because democracy makes me sick, apparently. Your definitive previously recorded top 10. Number 1 is Remember the Titans. Number 2, Rocky. 3, The Sandlot. 4, White Men Can't Jump. 5, Field of Dreams. 6, Miracle. 7, Major League. 8, The Replacements. 9, Semi-Pro. And number 10, The Karate Kid.
And I think that is a solid top 10 list. And I think we did a really good job of a hard top. This is a hard topic. There are hundreds of sports movies.
You know what I'd like
Maybe
you
not
to do
hundreds,
too?
but-
Make a poll of Remember the Titans and Rocky.
Yeah, I will.
See what anyone
We
thinks.
need the Twitter sphere to be more interactive.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, I'm
Not
getting more
just you,
buzz.
Pascal. You send in your fake list, you douchebag.
Yeah, I don't have anybody interact with my Twitter to begin with. So when
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of reaction, and I really appreciate it, guys. This social interaction you guys
Yeah.
have had, and it's been great, and we're just trying to grow, and you guys are helping us grow. I mean, we legitimately have a sponsor now.
Yeah.
Remember, if you need T-shirts, reach out at Totally Tees at Instagram or Jack Hannigan on Facebook. Or you know what? If you need more, come to us at Previously Recorded, and we'll show you where to go.
I just want to clarify that Pascal is a good friend of mine, but he's a douchebag with a stupid tattoo.
Yeah, he's stupid. And now it's time for the giveaway section because that is our locked-in top 10. And
So what? Now we got to. How many shirts are we giving away?
we're only giving away. We might give away 3. All right. So we have decided our favorite fan list. We're all going to pick a list that we like, and you're all going to get a T-shirt. The 3 that we pick. We will be reaching out to you on where to send the T-shirt. And thanks again just for reaching out. I'm going to go first. My favorite list comes from Megan from Philadelphia, where she had Remember the Titans at 1, Hardball. She did have Air Bud at number 3, but we're going to give her a little break there.
A little bass.
Major
it's
League.
a heartbreaking moment when they
Yeah.
make the dog pick who to go to.
That's true. Major League at 4, Glory Road, Hoosiers, Space Jam, The Blind Side, Mighty Ducks, and Coach Carter. Shane, who do you have?
I think I got to go Eric.
Complete Blind Side.
Like his list, just don't really agree with the order, but I do like what's on
So
his list.
Eric's list
Where's that
was
So Eric from Philadelphia / Ben Salem.
Yeah, your name sounds kind of familiar.
There's a
he
letter that might
was
be-
So he's got White Men Can't Jump at 10, and then Caddyshack, Coach Carter, The Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Dodgeball, Rocky, The Replacements / Any Given Sunday, which, come on man, just pick a movie. Basketball, and then he's wrote, of course, Remember the Titans. I mean, take basketball out of there. I like that list. I just don't agree with the order, but I think that warrants a T-shirt.
To be honest, we liked all of these lists.
Yeah.
These lists were all really
Yes.
good. And
we appreciate the support and the reaching out and
and if you did not win a T-shirt this time, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to
Also-
win a free T-shirt.
I'm making an executive decision. I would like to also send one to Becky,
Okay.
because I do like her.
All right. Well, we
Yeah.
can't just be giving them out willy-nilly here.
Jesus.
Jesus. It makes
It's
defeats
money
the whole
involved.
purpose.
And so
I-
my
Well, these
top
t-shirts
10
brought
list
to you by Totally
is,
Becky, if you
Roger,
If you can fit in an XL, I'll give you my T-shirt. Okay.
Roger from Philadelphia. Right, and his number 10 is Glory Road. Number 9, Prefontaine, which we talked about how we don't really know what that movie is, but the rest of his list makes up for it, although I'm a little upset about one part of it. Number 8, Miracle. 7, Rookie of the Year. Number 6, A League of Their Own. 5, Happy Gilmore. 4, Basketball. 3, Rocky. He says all, doesn't pick one, so I'm going to say it's Rocky 1, which makes sense for our list. Number 2, Sandlot. And number 1, Remember the Titans.
Which is a really good movie. And I think a reoccurring theme here was Remember the Titans
Yes.
at number 1.
Yes.
Which resonates with all of us. So, again, if we didn't pick your list, we appreciate it, though. We read it, we loved it, and we thank you for listening to Previously Recorded. This is the end of our episode of Previously Recorded. We want to thank you again for listening. If you're still here, please, if you're a fan of the podcast, do us a favor. Rate and like us and leave us a comment or a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. And you can always hear us on SoundCloud as well. We want to thank Totally Tees for sponsoring this episode. And for the next episode, I'm going to be running a poll on Twitter and Facebook. So please check us out and see what we have coming up for all these good stuff. And this was a lot of fun. So thank you for listening to Previously Recorded.